certified personal training for 10 years. Raja Mudassir Khan Sahab. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I'm fine.
Thank you very much for joining us. You will definitely get started with the conversation. Last but not the least, he's a celebrity, ladies and gentlemen, himself. You know, uh, I just do not have words to explain what kind of a guy he is. He's the macho guy in Islamabad we talk about most of the times. We see his tutorial videos with all of those weightlifting and muscles and whatnot. So let's just get started. He's the CEO of Metroflex Strength and Rehabilitation Islamabad. He's a transformation specialist and a specialist with nutrition guidance too as well. He's none other than Mr. Hassaan Mahmood. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Assalam, I'm good. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. So let's get the conversation started. I'll get the conversation started with Ali. So Ali, how was life before when you used to weigh 190 plus?
It was tough.
How did you get there? Let's ask this first.
There was a lot of eating. Like everything was associated with eating.
Okay.
Like agar koi, if there's something to be happy about, you eat. If there's something to be sad about, you eat. If you're angry, you eat. If you're happy, you eat. It was always about eating.
So whatever mood you were in, you
Yeah.
always had a plate full of whatever
Yeah.
right in front of you, and you were just eating.
I was eating, yes, all the time, every time.
Oh
And
my God.
Yeah.
So you were born a normal kid. You weren't a fat kid, right?
No, I wasn't a fat kid. I was very thin up until I was 13, 14.
Okay.
And then I went to London with my mother for a few years. That's where it started. Then I had to go for my studies to London, and then, all junk food eating and no working out, nothing. Because I was
Yeah, but
studying.
how can you eat junk food over there? You know, it's barely halal. I'm sorry to bring that in though. But still, okay, go ahead, moving on.
Yeah, we were living in a place which had a lot of halal junk food.
Okay.
So, pizza and junk food and no working out, studying and working at the same time, it just, that's where it started from.
So that was a very different lifestyle you had.
Yes, very different lifestyle.
All right, we will definitely come back to that, but let's move on to Mudassir Sahab. So Mudassir Sahab, went for the very first time, Ali came to you as a challenge. This might have been a challenge because when I go to the gym, I see people training other people, then people miss out on days as well. They do not come back. So what kind of motivation did you see in him when you started working on him?
Well, with Ali was already into fitness and everything. He was already dieting. So, of course, Ali will let you know about the whole story, how we started. Good thing about Ali is he's self-motivated. Like, Ali is one of those people who, if he wants to do something, he'll go in and do it. We just had to
And
provide
you're still
him.
pushing him.
We are pushing him. We're
Yeah.
absolutely pushing him.
Yeah.
He just needed the right environment and right guidance, and that's what we did basically.
Wow, that's just great. So Hassaan Bhai, since you are a transformation specialist, what are the four most important things which you actually need to realize that, okay, these are the things which I need to know about my client, otherwise I cannot work on your transformation?
First of all, their temperament.
Okay.
You have to understand the nature of your client and not push them beyond a certain limit. You need to understand this is old for you. You have been doing this a while. Not everybody is the same.
Yeah.
So you cannot push somebody right away and give them that feel that this is how your day is going to look like. The first thing that will happen is they'll go back and they won't ever come back again.
Okay.
So you need to understand the nature of your client. You need to understand what motivates them. So we have to play a lot of the carrot game at times. We keep motivating them with these small little goals. Like I have a fridge in my office full of chocolates.
Okay.
So after good workout, I bribe my clients with a good chocolate bar. So you need to understand their temperament, their discipline, and it's very important for you to talk to them on and off to make sure they never give up. At times there will be times when they think that they're not progressing. So all you need to do is show them how they look when they started.
Okay.
So when you see that initial picture, you start knowing that day by day nothing really seems different, but when you look back, somehow everything is changed. So it's very important. These factors I associate with training anyone who comes to you for physical guidance.
But then at the same time, I think that it is very important for any trainer or a transformational expert as well to be good at giving a motivational speech.
Absolutely.
For example, I refer to the film Wolf of Wall Street, where he just used to stand up and shout out and keep them motivated too. So how do you do that?
A trainer has multiple jobs. You just don't have to have sound knowledge about exercise and diet. I think a trainer is somewhat a doctor, a counselor,
Yeah.
a psychologist, and a psychiatrist,
Exactly.
and your best friend also. So if I see that my clients have a bad day, we can just sit down and talk for a while. You just don't have to be too professional and strict about it. Make sure they're in their comfort zone. So there are lots of things a trainer has to do in order to get the best out of their client. So you have to not just be a trainer, you have to be a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a teacher, a best friend, a mentor. So it's interesting. You use methods to get through to your client.
Yeah.
And you need to have that comfort zone.
Exactly. So let's ask Ali. So how did you got your comfort zone, and how helpful was his motivational speeches for you, or you didn't need that all, or you were always dedicated and you were like whatever?
Not always. I still cry a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Or whining?
Whining a lot.
Yeah, okay.
But because they said things that were very realistic. They did not make any promises to me. They did not say that, in 6 months or in 3 months we'll get you here, we'll get you there. Because my case was pretty different, and I had metabolic damage. By dieting, I was having 500 calories a day for a long time, and I was still not losing weight. And when I went and saw Mudassir, I had done some serious damage to my metabolism.
All right.
So they put me on a very high calorie junk food eating 4-month diet, which I enjoyed a lot.
Okay.
But then that's how they fixed it, and that's how the relationship developed. And they really helped me out. Whether it's 12 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock, I'll send them a picture, they'll tell me whether I should eat this or not. And this is how they're always there. Like whenever I need them, whenever I'm confused, now I can do a lot of things on my own, like, count the calories and sort of figure out ki kya khana hai, kya nahi. But these guys are always there. Like, you just send them a picture and they'll reply, like even it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And they would give you very realistic goals, and they'll push you to the maximum. Like they won't let you stop.
Okay, but for instance, for all those people who are out there who will definitely take inspiration from your case and how you worked, what I want to know over here is that how is life when you're so fat? Is it disturbing psychologically? Because Hassaan very correctly said that you have to be the psychologist of your client too as well. You have to tell him at times. Do you feel depressed? Do you feel down that, okay, nothing's fitting me? What's the problem? I do not want to go to a wedding. I do not look good. Things like these. Do these things happen?
They happen. These things are real, and they psychologically damage you.
Okay.
So much so that you actually never realize that you're psychologically damaged.
Okay.
Once you go through a transformation, the thing that I'm trying to tell everyone right now, whoever I meet and with my Facebook posts and everything, is that it has such massive psychological changes once you go through such a transformation, because you don't even know that you have these issues, that you're trying to hide away, shy away, nothing fits you. I had to order kapde from abroad, and they costed me a fortune. Or I had to go and buy my clothes from Itwar Bazaar, because that was the only place where I could find my size. Wow. And these things damage you. You can't ever just walk into a store for a wedding and buy stuff. You have to plan it months in advance.
Why did you get it tailor-made though? I mean, it's like people asking a question that, that a pen which works at space, or at a space station is worth millions of rupees. Then somebody said, why don't you write with a pencil over there? So it's just like that. Why did you get them tailor-made?
I don't like the tailors. They never.
See, that's what the problem. If you don't mind me asking, what was your waist then? What is your
58.
waist? 58.
And it's 36 now.
Wow, man, that's just brilliant. So now moving on to Mudassir Sahab. Now Mudassir Sahab, whoever walks into the gym or wants to transform themselves, or say that okay, we want to do this and that, what kind of analysis is being done by a trainer, or what kind of things do you take in account that okay, I need to check these things before?
So before we do anything at all, it's very important that people have realistic expectations of what they want to achieve.
Okay.
Like someone like Ali, he comes in, he's 130. He cannot expect to lose that weight in like 2 months or 3 months.
And say that I want six-pack abs too as well.
And that's an issue with a lot of people. If you're putting on weight and you've been putting on weight for 5 years, you cannot expect it to go away in like 2 months or 3 months. You have to give it some time. If you want to do it properly, that's very, very important. Ali mentioned something about metabolic adaptation. It wasn't damage, it was adaptation. So because of him doing it on his own, he was following these diets where he was just having 500 calories and he was still not losing weight. One good thing about Ali was that once he had a talk with us, we made sure that he understood the whole process and he then trusted us. Like we asked him to actually gain weight. Initially for someone who's 125 kgs, telling them that you have to gain weight for 2 to 3 months.
This is a very bizarre statement. Imagine that, I'm going to a gym and I'm talking to a trainer and he's like, oh, you need to gain more weight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, and this is where a trust thing comes in. right?
This is where another trainer comes in.
Yeah, this is where another for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But someone who understood, I mean, he's an educated person, very smart guy. He understood the whole process. So for 2 to 3 months, we had to stabilize the whole thing. We had to like he had to eat a lot of food, and once he started eating food, and I think he gained just 1 kg or something.
Yeah.
That was it, right, Ali?
Yeah.
A kg.
A kg.
After eating a lot of
So you
food.
just wanted his metabolism to work a little
Yes.
faster.
Once that started happening, it was like
It was easy then.
It wasn't easy.
Okay, but my
Was it?
question,
Never
but my
easy.
question stays there. What kind of things do you analyze when a person comes in, whoever comes in,
But
and
That
how
is-
is it different from men to women?
Well, first thing that it's harder for women to lose weight. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, it's harder for them. They're supposed to have more fat on them, and it has to do with their hormones and everything else.
Yeah.
Whenever a person comes in, it depends. Like we ask them to fill a form for us. We call it a physical activity readiness questionnaire. They go through and they write their history. Depending upon what injuries they have, we design a particular program for them,
Yeah.
considering the injuries. And the program is dependent on whatever their goals are. And then later on, we ask them to fill their food logs and stuff like that. And then we customize their diet plans as well.
Wow.
So it's all customized to that particular individual.
Amazing. So Hassaan bhai, moving on to you before we head towards a short break, what is the role of estrogen and testosterone in your body? I mean, men to women, that's what I'm talking about.
Estrogen is what makes a woman, and testosterone is what makes man a man.
But when you
They're
work
the-
out,
When you work out, depending on what hormonal imbalance, if you may have, in males, especially when they're overweight, like Ali Bhai's case, you tend to have a higher side of the female hormone, which is estrogen, prolactin.
In men.
In men, which
Yeah.
is not supposed to be there. But since you've gained so much weight in your metabolism and your hormonal cycle is disturbed, so males actually start developing more of the female hormone.
Okay.
Same for the women, they start developing more of the male hormone. So they'll have issues like facial hair growth called erotism. They'll have problems in their psychological adaptation. Same goes for men in their own regard. So it's a myth that only men go through hormonal disturbances or only women do. Both of them do.
Okay.
So estrogen is one thing which, especially in obese cases, whenever you test any obese person, the estrogen level is going to be high, and the higher estrogen level, the lower your testosterone levels are going to be. It's an inverse
Yeah,
relationship.
so then pumping testosterone into your body will work?
Not exactly.
Okay.
There
In muscle development.
are better ways. In order to lower your estrogen and increase your testosterone, the main ingredient is exercise and a good supplementation plan,
Okay.
which has a lot of herbs as well. So it's not just your typical multivitamin or things like that. There are lots of herbs, there are lots of greens, there are lots of secret foods, good foods you can use in order to bring your estrogen down. And when the estrogen comes down, you start losing weight, your testosterone goes up. The higher testosterone, the more fat burning process it's initiated. So it's an inverse relationship. One goes down, the other goes up. One comes down, the other goes up. So
Alright.
that's how it works.
So can you name a few food items too as well, so that for all those people it's very helpful?
To reduce estrogen in
Yeah,
men,
yeah.
first of all, a main ingredient is garlic.
Okay.
Garlic has been known to have flavonoids, which is very good for your heart, for your balance. The most important mineral associated with hormonal balance for males and women is selenium. So if any person hearing this show, male or female, has a hormonal disbalance problem, you should have at least 200 milligrams of selenium per day.
Where do we get it from?
And normal vitamin store, normal
Okay,
drug store.
that's cool.
No, it's nothing too difficult. And in order to have it from natural sources, broccoli, anything that's green in color, that should be your first preference.
All right.
So you should always choose the natural way first.
Amazing.
Even if broccoli does not necessarily have the amount of selenium that you're looking for, but I would still want at least 70% of your intake to come from a natural food source. The rest 30 is you can take a pill for that with consulting your doctor first.
Amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, see, I think this is the right way to do it, that you have to consult your doctor first, but we have another transformational video for you guys. Go ahead, take a look and take some inspiration. And when you guys are going to come back, we're going to ask Hassaan that he used to be very slim too. What did he do to his body? Let's do it.
In the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I lived at home with my parents, which means I came home to home-cooked meals and a clean bed. And most importantly, a supportive and loving system around me. It wasn't until I moved to LA where everything went downhill. I was working hard to reach my first 1,000,000 subscribers. I was filming all day, editing all night, and using food as my support system. There was no love around me, and there was no love inside me. Worst of all, my bipolar got worse, my depression got worse, and my addiction got worse. I was losing myself.
I don't like grabbing this and doing this. Like, you should not see that shake. You should not see that shake, and like it's bad. I'm not happy with this. Like, there's no other way to put it. I can't wait to be able to do that and just have like an 8-pack just raging at you, where you go look at me and go like, yo, what is he on? And I'll be like, I'm not on anything. I'm a beast.
I was tired of self-medicating to make myself feel better. I wanted to stop. I wanted to change. I wanted to get off my medication, so I checked myself into rehab and I started changing my life. I wanted to love myself again. I wanted to respect myself again. I wanted to remember who I was when I started and where I came from.
My double chin used to be like out to here, and I used to not have a neck. I have a neck now. I'm starting to have a jawline like Zac Efron. I have biceps, like I'm looking good.
It doesn't matter how hard you've fallen. It doesn't matter how badly you've hit the ground. It's never too late to get up. It's never too late to start fighting for what's yours. Fighting for what's right. The ability to love yourself. The ability to respect yourself. The ability to look in the mirror and appreciate who you are inside and outside. All you have in this world is your happiness, and you cannot let that go. You have to remember who you are. You have to remember where you came from. You have to remember that you're enough. You wanted the body you've always imagined, right? Well, what are you doing waiting for it? Change doesn't come overnight. Change doesn't come knocking on your door. Get up and decide to be successful. Get up and do what it takes to reach your goals. Chase your dreams. Fight for yourself. Fight for your right to live your dreams day in and out. You gotta train your mind and allow your body to follow. This wasn't easy. This was not easy, but this was sure as hell worth it. You got what it takes. You got what it takes to be the beast that lives within. You need to
Change, ladies and gentlemen, definitely doesn't by itself. It doesn't come knocking on your door too as well. You have to work hard and you have to strive for change, and change is inevitable. So just remember that. Now getting back to Mr. Hassaan over here. So you used to be very slim, and this is how it is. So people who are fat, they want to get slim, and people who are slim, they want to get fat. So either way, since we are humans, we just do not find the right balance. So how did it all happen for you?
I wasn't slim, I was underweight actually.
Yeah.
And training was suggested to me as a behavior modification tool by a psychiatrist when I was born and raised in Dubai, so that's where it happened. They just asked me to divert my frustration, energy, anger, whatever term you may want to use, in a positive outcome. So I said, okay, if that's what it takes to be a better person, so I'll do that. So once I started training just for the sake of listening to an advice given by a doctor, things started to change, and I felt the positives in my life. Then there was no going back, and I decided to keep going as far as I can take it.
So you never stopped?
No,
so,
never.
So you always kept on working out?
Every day, 6 days a week, there's no excuse. I may be traveling, there could be, a sad event, a happy event, there's no break.
No, but in between, there are very unfortunate injuries too as well. You have to recover from those injuries. So what happened? Because usually what happens if somebody gets an injury, they just stay back home. They're like, okay, let it get better. And an injury of such sort does not get better, beyond 6 months. And, it takes time. So how was it for you?
It did happen to me. It was my shoulder actually. But what I did was, while my shoulder was recovering, I used to focus more on my lower body. So I still used to go to the gym. I still didn't take off.
So you were like, leave the shoulder. Let's focus on the lower
Let's
body now.
focus on something different. If one door closes down, it's the beginning of something new. So there's no such thing as rest. There's always a thing known as active rest. So even while you are resting, there are things you can do in order to make sure you're still getting something out of it.
Wow, that's just cool. And then how is life for you now?
It's good. I can't thank Allah enough.
It's amazing.
I'm very happy.
I think this is the same question I'm going to ask Ali. So now, how is life now?
Life is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, everything changes around you.
What's different now? You?
See, what's different is I was big. I was really big when I was 170, but I was invisible. And now I wish to be invisible, but I can't be. That's how much it has changed. And I can't get over myself.
I think that's cool. That's cool. So now moving on to Mudassir bhai. Now Mudassir bhai, let's talk about all of those people who are out there. Let's talk about the masses. What are the most simplest things they can do or instill within their activities in a normal day to change themselves?
Well, first thing, they have to eat a little less and walk a little more. I mean, it's a simple advice. Everyone will give you that. But start with that. It's as simple as that.
So there's no other way without walking.
I mean, I'm not saying that walking is the way to go about it. If you can exercise, hire an expert first thing. Hire a trainer if you can afford one. Hire a trainer and start working out. Go to a gym. That's the best thing you can do. But then again, everyone's situation and everyone's environment, everything is different. So if you can't do that, start with basic activities, whatever you can manage or whatever your schedules.
And by
whatever.
eating less, what do you mean?
Eating less means that just eat less. I mean, all of us
For example,
eat
if you were eating a chapati, make it a half.
Yeah, I mean,
Start from there.
Yes, hormones and everything, I absolutely understand. But at the end of the day, if you have gained weight, most probably you're eating more than what you should be.
Yeah.
And you're moving less than what you should be. So let's start with the very, very, very basic stuff. A lot of people might confuse these things, but basic thing is that you have to have more activity and you have to eat less.
I think this is, ladies and gentlemen, is a very important message. And what happened to, okay, I'm going to share my own story as well. I wasn't really very fat, but I used to weigh 106 kgs and I was always like this. And then I had to drop my weight. But what I did was that I actually went on a very strict diet where I was just I didn't know how many calories does my body need, how many carbs does my body need or whatever. So I went on a very strict diet where I was just eating a boiled egg in the morning with a cup of black coffee. Then in the middle of the day, I'll eat some almonds. Then, in between, I'll just have a juice. And then at night, after doing all my cardio, I'll just move down to having a steam roast, all of it. But eventually, I realized that it is damaging my body too. So for all those people who go on a very strict diet and do not exercise, what kind of damage are they doing to their own bodies? I think this is what we need to talk about. One by one.
So very first thing people need to realize is that if you're just dieting, you will start losing muscle as well.
Okay.
And muscle is basically life. I mean, if you want to look good, you have to have enough muscle on you.
Yeah.
So just dieting, number one, you're starving yourself. So basically the muscle does not have a reason to stay on you. So you have to provide external resistance, which you provide in terms of weights or whatever exercises you can do. So very first thing, which is the huge thing, is that you'll lose a lot of muscle.
So you lose strength too?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I mean, your strength goes away. You might become a smaller version of yourself, but will you look good? Well, not
that's a
really.
question.
Yeah, that's a question mark, right?
My mother-in-law didn't recognize me when I went back. She was like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
All right, Hassaan bhai, what would you say about this?
The same
How
thing,
dangerous is it, dieting like this?
See, in the beginning of the show, Mudassir bhai rightly said that people have unrealistic expectations. They'll take 20, 30 years to put weight on, and then they need just 2 months to shed it off.
Yeah.
For that, they'll go for drastic measures. Being physique instructors, we get to see this all the time. If somebody has a marriage coming up, somebody went through a personal trauma, 2 months, 3 months, that's the highest temperament I've seen. So I'm very, surprised that, we don't try and shorten things that we have control over.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anybody saying I can do a bachelor's degree in 2 years. If that how fast you are, why don't you use your skills over there?
Yeah.
So if you go for drastic measures, the first thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to start losing a lot of not just good weight, but also a lot of your important functions in your body. For example, going on an extremely low caloric diet will make you lose hair, make you lose your skin texture, make you lose your nails, and most importantly, it'll demotivate you. You will go to the gym, you might lose a few pounds, but at the end of the day, it's not sustainable. You always go for sources which is sustainable.
Yeah, that's
so
correct.
if going down to 800, 500 calories, ideally it should actually slim you down within days. But after the first 3-4 weeks, you just stop because the human body is not designed to function like that.
Okay.
So what you do is you have a respectable caloric intake and then you start exercising with it and you come down gradually. Nothing too dramatic or drastic is good for you. You lose too quickly, not good for you. You lose too slow, not good for you. 21 days it takes for your heart and mind and your body, your metabolism to understand a simple diet change. And in Pakistan, or usually the cases we get to see, the clients want a new meal plan every other day. So you're not giving your body and your heart enough time to adapt to what you're throwing at it. So that damages you. Like we have lots of boot camps going on. I won't name them specifically, but we all know what we're talking about, and it's very sad to make people believe that you can change something in 40 days.
And pay hefty amounts too, which is not sustainable too.
I've been very vocal about this before, and I've faced a lot of backlash as well. But I'll still go ahead and say it anyway. It's a pipe stream. It's a fool stream to make people believe. We are trying to explain. Mudassir bhai and Ali sitting here would testify that we are trying to make people believe that this is something which has to be every single day of your life. 1 hour of your day, without excuse, you got to dedicate to yourself. It's not a 40-day thing. But then again, shortcuts have always appealed to us. 2-minute noodles, 1 minute of this, 20 minutes of that, 20 seconds of this. Why? Why can't you just make it a habit and train 1 single hour a day? You work at your office 9 to 5 for someone else, fulfilling somebody else's dream and ambition. So why is it that when it comes to your own self, you want the shortest possible time? So if Ali bhai was recording his time, he wouldn't be where he is today. If Mudassir bhai was recording the time he's training Ali, he wouldn't be here today either.
And that's a very, very important point. What people need to ask themselves is what happens after 40 days?
Exactly.
Like what will they do after those 40
They
days
just
of
go
work?
back to where they were.
Yeah.
And they
So-
wait for the next 40-day
And
challenge.
we see that all the time. Like they go through these cycles of looking good for like 2 months and then gaining all that weight back and then adding another 5 kgs to that weight, then looking bad and feeling pathetic for like 6 months and then looking good again. And it's a repetitive cycle which is very, very unfortunate. And of course, it has to be blamed on, as Hassaan said, it has to be blamed on us as well. Like we see this all the time, the 40 days, 3 months. 12
Exactly, and I
weeks.
would love to add over here that, the gym where I go to, so ladies and gentlemen, what happens is that you see these, 42-day or 40-day challenge trainers that, they're so perfect, they've got a perfect body, they're all chiseled and whatnot. But, so what happened, I went to the gym and I was in conversation with this lady and I was like, I have seen you posted somewhere, aren't you that 40-day challenge thing? And she was like, yes. I was like, what are you doing over here? She was like, yeah, we train the
Every
entire
single day.
year.
Yeah, there you go.
365 days a year. So, ladies and gentlemen, what makes you think that 42 days will be just enough for you guys? But right now, I think we have got Hassaan Saab's picture ready with us. So you're going to share your journey, and you're going to let us know. You're going to look straight into the camera while you look at the pictures too. Go ahead. Let's share the pictures. So yeah, share your transit. This is you.
Yeah, that was actually 2 years into training. So that's not.
So it has
me
always
before
been 2
training.
years.
Yeah, that's 2012 maybe.
Oh
Yeah,
my
this
God.
this is right after my shoulder injury. That's 2012 to 2017.
But it just got too big.
Sometimes it just looks like that on pictures. It's most of the pump and the camera angle and the lightning.
Wow. So how difficult was it for you to do it?
I didn't.
Or was it difficult or it wasn't? Or
Is anybody who trains regularly, I think everybody would testify that no training session is easy. If I go into a training session and I feel, wow, this is something I can handle, then obviously I'm not doing it right.
Yeah.
So every single workout, I have to set a benchmark for myself. You make it more difficult for you deliberately.
Yeah.
Now, how sweet is that? How many people actually want to endure pain? That's against human nature. But one thing I've always said, Mudassir bhai would agree, our validation as physique instructors is not just helping a client lose weight or gain weight.
Yeah.
It's to give them the gift of willpower. That's what we are all about. Weight losing your weight, gaining weight is something you can do. Read a few magazines and, do some self-medications, which we are so expert at. I mean, Pakistanis can
Home
register
remedies.
antibiotics by themselves.
Yeah.
But the willpower, the ability to make your client come for the second session, the third, the fourth, the fifth, that's our greatest validation as physique instructors.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, what I want to ask over here is that, for example, you said that whatever diet changes we make, it takes 21 days for the body to realize. So what kind of workouts do we actually need to make up for ourselves that the body actually needs to realize that, okay, now I have to work harder, I have to be stronger, I have to gain some more muscle. Do we have to change our workouts on a daily basis or what?
At least on a weekly basis. See, the human body responds to stimulus. Anything which is an external stimulus will prompt your body to change. So if you keep the same stimulus too long, it won't adapt.
Yeah.
If you keep it for too short, it won't get the time to
For
adapt.
example.
A good time period would be every 3 to 4 weeks.
And what kind of changes?
All sorts of changes. Like, see,
More
losing
reps.
weight does not just have to be about reps and cardio. You should work on every dimension.
Okay.
Flexibility, conditioning, stretching, meditation,
So you-
breathing techniques.
All right.
These are things which we do not associate anymore. It's so important to know how to breathe the right way, how to stretch, how to overcome injury. Like in Metroflex, our key consistency and our core competition is that we train people with medical conditions.
Okay.
I've trained Fawad Khan, who's been diabetic the last 17 years of his life.
Yeah.
So I needed to know what his blood sugar levels were before a workout, during and after. We had to map it down and we need to make a chart in order for us to know that our client is in the safe zone.
Okay.
So if people show up with slip discs, herniated discs, you mentioned you have a shoulder issue.
Yeah.
So how would I train you in order not to maximize the injury? Rather, I would design a rehabilitative program for you, which would strengthen your shoulder and place the minimum amount of stress. I would eliminate a few exercises. Like in your case, I would not give you anything behind the neck.
Yeah.
So not to aggravate your injury. But I would make you do things which are within your control, even by rotating your grip, your thumb grip, inwards, outwards, neutral grip, pronated, supinated.
Yeah.
You can actually make a lot of change to the injury and the muscle you're targeting.
Wow, that's cool. And which makes me think of that, do you think for everybody there's, the set of exercises is always same? According to the body type, anybody can do any exercise, or you have to change exercises according to the body type?
Well, going back to the point I made earlier, it depends on the person.
Okay.
Like Hassaan said, if you have a shoulder issue, you have to work around that. I mean, you cannot go ahead and make it worse. Basically, people have to realize it's about adaptation. That's what Hassaan meant as well. There's something we use, we call it biofeedbacks. How often should you change your exercise? It depends on the person and how well they have adapted to a certain stress. Biofeedback means that you need to see if that particular program or set of exercises have become easier for that person, or they have mastered that particular program, and then you can go ahead and change it.
All right.
So it depends on the person. It's as simple as that.
So how was it for Ali? Did you actually had to change his workouts, routines after every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? How? Because
varied.
it might have been very hard for him to actually do all of these exercises with so much weight on.
Yeah, we started with basic movement patterns. That's what we did with Ali. Because a person who is 125 or 130 kgs,
170 in his case.
170, it's hard for them to move around. So you start with very, very basic stuff, and then you slowly, once they start adapting to that, they start moving well, they start losing a bit of weight,
Yeah.
we go ahead and start doing advanced exercises with him as well.
All right, amazing. So Ali, you were just telling me before the show that it's been 2.5 years that you're on the same diet.
Yeah.
So then if the exercises or the workout regimes are changing, why not the diet?
It's actually easier. What I've learned is that if you pre-cook your meals on a Sunday and prepare it,
For the
you don't
entire
have
week.
to, that dilemma, what should I eat today?
One thing can I add
Yeah, sure,
something
sure.
to this? This is where a lot of people fail. They want the new high. People become bored.
Yeah.
You're bored of something. If you want long-term success in anything and everything, and
Perseverance.
that is applied on the diet and your workouts and everything, you have to be consistent. You have to be. It has to be repetitive.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what happened with him as well. When he says that he's been eating the same kind of foods, yes, but at the end of the day, he has breaks from his diets as well, right? Where he can go and eat whatever he wants.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
How often?
It's like every 2-3 months there's a break, given to
For
me.
how long? 2 days, 3 days?
It varies. Like the maximum it goes is a week.
Right, after a week, he'll have a whole day of
Yeah.
eat whatever he wants, right? And then that's where he kills his cravings and he can continue again. But it has to be repetitive. People need to realize it. Hassaan again mentioned that like people they want a diet plan every 2 weeks. No, listen, you need to eat certain type of
No,
good
but
foods.
but we Pakistani people, we go to so many weddings. The only
Yeah.
the only recreational activity we have is, in these days, go to a coffee shop, sit down over there, have sandwiches and all of those desserts. So what else? We're out of choices.
No, you can have a low-fat cappuccino. That's around what 40 to 50 calories. You can
Yeah.
easily adjust that.
But it's still the same amount of money, right?
Yeah.
so why not?
You'd
some
rather have
extra,
something
right?
more delicious for the
Yeah.
same amount
You need
of
to
money.
hire a personal trainer. All your money will go there, and you will stop eating out.
Okay, that's great. So now, very quickly, what we need. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we do have a surprise where my producers are actually going to share this. But right now, very quickly, few tips for all of those people who are out there and on your individual training experiences. Okay, so go ahead. First, you.
So from my end, it will be if you have gained weight over 5 years, don't expect it to go away in 5 days. First thing, don't be bored of your diets, and hire a professional. The way you go to a doctor when you're sick, you should go and hire a personal trainer if you can afford one.
Wow, that's cool, Hassaan bhai.
I won't add anything which is new to people. We all know the basics. We all know you need to sacrifice and work hard in order to see and achieve something. But if there's one thing I would tell you, that even motivation will fly out of the window after a while.
Yeah.
What takes its place is discipline. So my advice to people is please be disciplined. Please make sure that you have 1 hour of your day for your health. If not for your sake, at least for the sake of the people you love and care about. Like if I'm not taking care of myself, I have a family, I have a beautiful baby daughter, I have a beautiful wife, family, friends. So I would rather stay away from certain activities and a certain lifestyle in order to make sure I'm at my best for the people I love. So I think that at the end of the day has to be your greatest motivation. Nothing comes close.
Amazing, that is. Thank you very much for being with us, gentlemen. It was lovely to be in conversation
Thank
with
you.
such highly motivated people, and that too on a Monday morning. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens in life. When things get real bad, you have to pick yourself up and you have to tell yourself that I have to stay focused and I have to keep on doing it repetitively. And on this note, we do have some pictures. My producer's saying that it's a surprise, but go ahead. Let's see how aging gracefully takes place. Yeah, these are mine pictures. Imagine, so I think I was 20 then. So yeah, moving on. Oh my God, don't do that. We used to work at a call center. We used to bunk and then. Whoa, see, so I was just aging. That's it. Moving on. All right, but now here I am, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you very much for staying connected with us. And if there's anything which you want to ask, please write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On Dailymotion and YouTube, it's World This Morning. But one last question from both of our highly expert trainers over here, and that is, why do you think whenever you go to the gym that one trainer says another thing and another trainer says another thing and they're never in collaboration with whatever they say? Why do not they share the same things what they have to say? Is it because of the clients?
No,
it's
not
human
really.
nature. You go to a hairdresser, the first thing he's going to ask
Oh, yaar,
is,
usko to kaatne nahi
aapne
aate."
पिछले बाल कब कटवाए और किससे कटवाए? So I don't know why that happens. It's true, it does happen.
Yeah.
It should not. You should respect each other's views and you should collaborate positively.
Exactly.
Like just during this show, there's so much I learned just listening to both of these gentlemen sitting over here. So I think that's how it should be. We bring in negative competition, unfortunately. I don't know why.
What about you?
Well, there are basics. We all agree on those basics. Unfortunately, there are people who do not understand these things, and that's where all this comes from. Otherwise, there are basics which I'll agree on it. He'll agree on it. Everyone else will agree on it, right?
Exactly.
But of course, there are people who have recently become traders and stuff, so they do not understand those things.
Recently. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very normal and it's normal human behavior. For example, if you go to a doctor, you know, that doctor is actually going to tell you that, you know, oh, which doctor did you go to previously to as well. So it's very normal. Even if you're going to go to a banker, he's going to say, okay, you know, which bank were you working at, or who was looking after your account. So this is very normal. Just look after yourselves, be motivated, and keep yourself out of this black hole. Just be motivated and love yourself. 1, 2, 3, good morning.